got Cry's gonna be first up over the team one. Setting this boy out again. And last of all, we're getting a bit of a rematch with the guy. That's gonna be an opportunity for the two of them to find a way to go against one another. Gonna be immediate succubus CC, interrupted it. Big fire brand under Christ, taking a bit of damage. Is Lat looking for a bit of burst in the opener. Gonna go for that soul fire opener. As it's a full fear versus last Voker. Trying to go for some damage zone. Christ poking himself out in the open. Full gates with an infernal. Big damage on the last. Actually, it's gonna be mortal coil by Christ. As Christ is going in for a big blast of chaos bolts onto last. Last is gonna wall this damage off to try to see if he can stay in there. Manage to recover back behind the pillar. Big incinerators to follow. Is looking to catch up. Christ porting right next to him. Can't really interrupt the Evoker. He can't really stop him unless he gets CC. He can't really stop his cast whatsoever. Gonna be the succubus seduction with the chaos bolt fear right after last Evoker trying to see if he can reposition behind the pillar. Quick route onto Cries. He's got himself the big gateway, big portals. Last Evoker trying to see if he stay mobile. Shadow into Cries. Mortal Raptor. Let's see when he outs. Ooh, and Cries does end up burning him up in nice, glorious, scorching blasts. As Beefy Lock gonna be up next as an Affliction Warlock, playing into more damage over time gameplay, which could be very, very beneficial. I feel like if you can get some dots on the Cries and keep them there. In the past, we've seen Affliction Warlocks just rot people down, just absolutely just destroy them over time. Gonna be mad gateway for Beefy. Mortal to Cries, but the second is gonna cut him off at the draw. And Cries does at least give himself an opportunity to get some damage versus Beefy. So far, he's just trying to poke damage at Beefy from safety. At some point, Beefy is going to go for a reflect here, potentially big damage. The Cries about dropping in a big infernal on his head, interrupting his big casted. That's going to be the Dark Glare joined in. Does go for the fear of the Dark Glare. Big haunt on Cries. Beefy taking a load of damage from Cries. Big soul rod casting circle. Beefy maybe can go for a massive drain. Mortal to interrupt him. Does get himself a defensive. Cries finally fully dotted up on dots. Is that going to be able to break those defenses? Got himself massive Dark Pact in order to absorb a lot of the damage. Beefy under a ton of pressure. Though, looking for more drains versus Cries. Does swap onto an interrupt pet in order to keep the pressure rolling in. Full hunt versus Christ. He does himself the Dark Pact. That's going to absorb a lot of that damage over time. It is eventually going to be able to break those defenses, and Beefy can maintain the sustained pressure versus Christ. He may be okay. Got himself Dark Pact on his own. Right now, I think it's just Warlocks, literally bubble boys out here, man. Just putting up bubbles on themselves and just surviving literally the apocalypse. As the Drain Soul comes out, Beefy may potentially finally cracking through Christ's defenses. The dots are rotting him little by little. Christ does go for a Soulborn Hellstone, so he won't have any more healing afterwards, or any more big bursts of heals. And Beefy, if he can set up a double drain onto Cries, he'll be in a fantastic spot looking for an escape plan, as is going to be full portals. Open it up for him. Cries is trying to see if he can chase him with a sustained damage. Going to be a drain out of Beefy Lock, looking to get himself a bit of recovery. Cries sent him with a mortal coil. It's going to be an Emulate with the fear right after. Beefy does tank up completely, interrupting Cries, but for just a second, looking for the full Soul Rod. Got himself full set of dust and see how bursts to follow. Could go for a full Dark Glare. Cries is going to see the Dark Glare come out. Could potentially banish it out of the game. He got him so close, but that Dark Pact just absorbs so much of your damage. There goes the dots, actually doing something. Cries trying to pop off some cooldowns of his own. Gonna be reflect for Beefy Lock. Cries is very careful with what he interrupts. It's gonna be a hunt with a quick fear before he can finish that hunt. Cries setting out a chaos bolt, blasted out Beefy. That's gonna be a quick cast and summon in circle in order to be able to get himself full cast without interrupts. Hunt, but that's gonna be a massive chaos bolt by Cries, man, just saving his ground. He decided, I need to blast out this Affliction Warlock. My goodness, and Leroy gonna be up next. Full dots onto the Demon Hunter. Cries looking for a fresh succubus. Leroy swinging around the corner. He needs to find a way to stop the Demon Hunter, trying to go for a big hunt from a distance. Does technically connect Metamorphosis to avoid any fears. Gonna be the demon spawning in. May help break you out of that fear, though. That's gonna be great. Does break him out. Gonna be Soul Break, Soul Cleave. Christ could be in a bad spot. Does wall off the damage as they were trying to see if he can end the duel right then and there. Cleaving right through him. Christ on the defensive. Trying to see if he can reposition. Massive heal. And that may be his only big heal versus Leroy. But looks like Leroy may be spent. He does go behind the pillar. The main demon that was chasing after him is kind of just dead. Got himself a freshly succubus. So he has a way to CC Leroy that constantly slowly against the Demon Hunter. Plus the mobility of a Warlock with Soul Burns is absolutely crazy. Leroy stunning Cries with a Fear Sigil to follow. Massive gateway. Does Leroy is he able to catch up? Looks like Cries is maybe trying to position, potentially looking for another portal back to his gate. It looks like may take the portal. Leroy trying to see if he can back up out of there, trying to stay ahead of time. He knows that Kreisberg wants to reposition behind the pillar, and he's kind of waiting for him, but he can't. If he stays over there, Kreisberg is going to run away. If he stays back, Kreisberg is just going to keep his distance. Like, it's just in a bad spot. Like, you can't really find a good angle. Unless you have Metamorphosis, like charge him, force him, Metamorphosis right over him, and then blast him out right after. Maybe you could do it. Cry's found away from his portal, maybe in a bit of trouble. Stun, Mortal Coil into Leroy, has it, she can hold on to it until later. Succubus is here right after, just kind of running in the opposite direction. Wait, why are you running away from Succubus? Leroy, you're supposed to run to the Succubus, not away from them. Gonna be gateways opening up for the Warlock. Mortal Coil is trying to get aggressive. Cries is gonna see Leroy go for a quick eventual retreat. Does give him some immunity. Big gateway for Cries. Got himself lots of mobility. Looking to position away from Leroy. Leroy realizes that he's kind of out of juice. He needs to back up out of there for a second. And again, Cries is able to chip away at him without too much worry about his health bar. And there goes the Warlock Hellstone. They came back up. Quick soul burn. That soul burn ability is extremely strong right now. The mobility, the self-healing, soul burn, just burning a soul shard just gives you so much more effective mobility, so much more effective survivability, just emergency healing. It's so perfect. It's going to be a quick intro from the Succubus CC. Cry's just going to buy himself a little bit of time until Succubus is back. Dark back after. Big Blade Dancer follow, cracking through his defenses. Maybe Leroy got him on the ropes. Trying to see if he can walk away from Leroy. Leroy hanging out next to the Succubus. He knows he's going to get hit with Succubus CC. Imprisoned onto the Cry's for a second. Fear right after. Cry's does have a wall. It's going to be Leroy trying to see if he can burn through him. Big Blade Dancer right after him. But it looks like Cry's defenses with a wall just keeping him alive. Big Inferno coming down, trying to see if he can immolate through. Big portal spawning in. One portal, two. Leroy may need all the defenses in the world in order to survive it. Does go for a blade dance, flying up in the air. Interrupting Cry's bone and shadow. Darkness to follow. Cry's gonna be in big trouble. Stun onto him, and Leroy does end up slaying the demon, picking up the demonic soul. Slaying another demon by the looks of it. Gonna be a stun from a distance. Cry's setting up a cannonball. Has no hold whatsoever. Does Leroy close the gap and try to see if he can end it? Cry's has defenses come back up very, very soon. Does Leroy finish him off? Interrupting him on fire. Cry's back with the dark back last second. Leroy trying to see if he can position over. Does get him some immunity from the dark back and maybe just have him. Oh my god, he does end up slaying the Warlock, dude, the unkillable Warlock. He does end up taking him down. But Claus is gonna be up next. Big War Stomp. As Leroy just exhausted after fighting that Warlock, drained of all his ability to fight anymore. Claus goes in just to slam the guillotine jaws of death down on him. Claus blasted off by Magi, who just tried to see if he can push in. I think playing Incarnation. Basic command if he was cool enough. Big blasted claws just absolutely decimated him with just a bunch of arcane damage. Looking for a bit of recovery as Doomberry's the last one left. Needs to charge in. Dampen is so high, you better take advantage of it. Magi, does he have any dots on him? Doomberry almost gets him out. He went for that crash lightning, but Magi needs to be literally in front of him. Literally in that frontal cone, like really short, small area in front of you. Limited on what they can do. Magic may decide to get super aggressive. Going to be rooted onto Doomberry with a silence. Trying to see if he can break out of it with a quick sprint. Magic trying to see if he can play a bit defensive. Big Alabaster follow up. I don't think there's any way for you to fight through it, as you got no help. Big Ascetas, but Doomberry to take a bit of damage. Trying to go for recovery, but a 63% damage. That healing isn't going to do much. Full stone onto Doomberry. As Coil trying to see if he can maybe potentially get him some big pressure onto Doom. Wall by, then hit with Shaman, got himself another Ascendance, so he's getting his procs, could potentially turn around, but Cole got him some basic immunity from magic damage. I think he's just gonna get overpowered by the army of the undead. Not much you can really do in that situation. Yeah, with this high dampening, there's very little you can do. Cries is absolutely unstoppable, but Leroy was there to finish off that job. That is absolutely crazy, chat. That is actually insane. That is nuts. Go back to sleep, Dalaran. Child. Yo, thank you so much, VAR. Appreciate you coming by, my guy. Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Let's get another one going, boys, yeah?